Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. This November is the Diabetes Awareness Month, and we intend to have a chat about that today. To join me is a lady who has fought type 1 diabetes. Is a survivor, now a champion against diabetes, and she goes by the name ANITA KEMBOI. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Glad to have you here.
Nice to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, who is ANITA KEMBOI?
ANITA KEMBOI is a lady from Eldoret, but currently in Nairobi. An interior designer by professional. And I am a survivor, a fighter for type 1 diabetes. And I'm just creating awareness and making people aware that this condition is like no other. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your story. When does it start from?
It starts way back in my early 20s. I was diagnosed, let's say I was misdiagnosed first, and then later on after a month, that is when we realized I was type 1 diabetes. Okay,
let's go into the pre-diagnosis bit. Until when were you healthy, and what did you begin to notice?
Okay. Let me go way back. In high school, I used to be so sickly, so I didn't really know that I had this condition. So after high school, when I just joined campus, that is when now I got the symptoms.
So by sickly, what kind of feeling?
Normal infections, homa, so in and out of hospitals, to see. So before diagnosis now, I had frequent urination first. Those are the first symptoms that I noticed, and drastic weight loss. So that is when we now knew that I was diabetic.
How frequent is frequent? Like every hour?
Frequent. You know, you get thirsty a lot, so you drink a lot of water. So drinking a lot of water results to, of course, going to the washroom. So at night, mostly, I didn't sleep. Because now you sleep like, let's say 20 minutes, you're up, you're going to the washroom. So that tendency was not sitting well with me. That is why I said, let's check. Yeah. So after 1 month now, that is when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. There's a test that we are normally done for. It's called HB1AC. HB1AC is a test that inakuonyesha like 3 months down the line how your sugars has been in your system. So now the doctor will now know this person has sugars imekuwa from this range to this range. So they now know the rightful medication ya kukupea and how to proceed.
How old were you when this diagnosis came?
21. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it shocking?
Very.
What did it mean? So you have type 1 diabetes. What does it mean, really?
It meant like my life will have to change, like completely. Because considering I was very young and new in campus, now that is where the life is just beginning. So you have to stop literally going out to eat junk, going out to have fun, and also some friends. You have to push them away for you to just be better. Because now this condition comes with a lot. I got a lot of rejection from my friends because now I did not fit in. Because now their type of having fun was different from what exactly I was going through. Sasa, I would not go out for ice cream dates because I would feel left out. Because sasa siezi, and kukula chips, kukula nini, that was a different thing from me. because now I had to choose either to eat that or to eat healthy.
So for those who do not know what this type 1 diabetes is, when they tell you have type 1 diabetes, it means what exactly?
Okay, so I've gotten that question before I entered the studio.
Yeah.
Because people don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Even I can attest, me myself, I didn't know. Like, of course, I have people in my family who have diabetes, but I didn't know. I didn't care because
and it's bad that we don't care until it happens to us or someone really next to us.
Sure. So there are two different types of diabetes. That is type 1 and type 2. Type 1 diabetes, this is, can say, someone is born with, you inherit from the family. So type 2 diabetes, this is where inaingilia lifestyle, old age. And also I can categorize the earlier pregnancy in type 2 diabetes. So now, if you know the difference of type 1 and type 2, now the treatment is very different. Because for a type 2, it can be reversed. You can go back to being normal. Type 2, if you...
By losing weight, by eating right.
Yes. So you can go back to being normal kabisa. For type 1, you're insulin dependent. Like literally, your pancreas is not producing any type of insulin. So you need an additional insulin to your body so that it controls the sugars in your body. So for type 2, you have a little bit of insulin being produced by the pancreas. But sasa, you need to control the way you're eating. And of course, there are supplements like tablets you're given so that it controls your sugars. So I wish people would know the difference before now asking. Another question I've gotten is, wewe na ile skari iko juu ama skari iko chini? And it saddens my heart that people are really not aware about this.
They are not. You know, that's why you're here.
So now, hakuna ati mtu ako na skari iko juu na skari iko chini. Sugars can go up or can go down, either for a type 1 diabetic or a type 2 diabetic. For, let's say, for instance, when you ujakula for some time, utasikia njaa. Sindio? Your sugar levels ita drop. But for now, a normal person who does not have diabetes, itakuwa tu normal. You see, for someone who has a diabetes, itashuka below the minimum. Let me say like normal.
A drastic drop.
A drastic drop. So we'll get those symptoms that tells you uko hypo. That point inaitwa kwa hypo when the sugars are very low.
You're dizzy.
Yes.
You're weak.
You're dizzy. You're sweating, and then apparently for me, my tongue inakuanga heavy. Talking is a problem. So that is when you know uko hypo. Now you need sugar to boost it. And then when the sugars are up, you have headaches and all that. So that's you really inakwambia you need insulin. You need to control your insulin at least urudi on the normal range. Now let me talk about the normal range sugars. Normal range ya sugar ni 3 to 7. So when I talk about hypo, is now your sugars being below 3. When I talk about hyper, that is when your sugars are high, it's above 7. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. That's a so now you had to be, like you say, insulin dependent.
Yes.
So I have to ask you the layman question. So insulin, how do people take it? What happens? Is it every day? What else has had to change in your life?
Okay. So first, when now I was diagnosed, I was given tablets to use it to control that nilikuwa nameza asubuhi na jioni. And then after now we realized that I was type 1 diabetic, to do away with the tablets and introduced injections. Injections actually work faster in type 1 diabetic to control sugars as compared to tablets. So now, for me, I am using injections. I inject myself 4 times a day. That is...
4 times?
Yes. So I have 2 different types of insulin. That is short-acting and long-acting. Short acting, this is a drug called Novorapid that I inject myself before I eat. So before breakfast, I inject myself. Before lunch, I inject myself. Before dinner, I inject myself. And then I have the long acting. The long acting serves for the night. It's called Levemir. So for Levemir, I inject myself once. So after dinner, let's say I take dinner at around 7:38. So I inject myself at 10.
Okay. I'm coming back to you in just a short while. Here at 59 Minutes, our discussion is about, the Diabetes Month, and Anita KEMBOI is here. She's been telling us her story about how she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and how that has changed her life. And so we'll pick it from there and continue. Anita, you said you take 4 injections.
No, yeah.
Per day?
Yes, 4.
4?
Yeah, sure.
How spaced out are they?
6 hours, 6 hours, then 2 hours.
What's it? When is the first one?
The first one is at the time that I wake up. So that's in the morning before breakfast. And then before lunch.
Is there a specific time to eat or just any time before you eat?
I can say the normal time. 8, 1, 8. Yes, and then 10.
What happens if you miss one?
My sugars will definitely go up. Because, my pancreas is not producing any kind of insulin. So regardless of what I eat, lazima tu nikuwe na insulin.
So you can't forget them?
I cannot.
You
I
walk
carry
around.
them anywhere I go to. So it's something like, it's like my phone. I will carry everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go.
Yes.
What about the expense?
Insulin is very expensive. Very expensive. And it saddens my heart that when they increased the taxes, dawa ilikuwa increased, of course. So, there are different types of insulin, depending with what your doctor anaona if it's best for your body. And of course, how able are
strong
you,
there?
how able are you to afford the kind of medication yenye daktari nakwambia. So, it's so sad that I am in a support group where people share about their experiences, what they're going through, and maybe ask questions about something. Maybe something has happened to them, or Liza Swali, then they get responses. So there's this time someone posted that they didn't inject themselves for 2 weeks. Because reason being, drugs are expensive. They cannot afford the drug. You imagine, this is something someone needs like food. Akose for 2 weeks. Imagine the damage that it has caused on their body.
Yeah.
The result of high sugar levels is kidney failure. Imagine when your kidney fails, you change your drugs from now, the one that you're using, to a different type, because now there's another problem that already has happened. So it's so sad.
It's very sad.
But it's very expensive. I can tell you it's very expensive.
So you say you have lived with this since 2012, you said?
Yeah.
Wow. So do you ever get a point where you're just now used to the general, this is what you have to do for the rest of your life? Or is there any change,
I had to just tell myself, it is what it is. It may happen, it may happen. I have to live with this. Because now I have goals that I had set to achieve before now being diagnosed with diabetes. I have a career. I want a family for myself in future. So if I want it, I will have to take care of myself. And of course, the people that support me, my family, they of course want to see me growing. Of course, there are times when it gets so hard, but you feel like, imefika mwisho.
Tell me about those times.
Wow.
What do you feel then? What's been your darkest moment?
My darkest moments. The biggest challenge is when when I was learning how to really control what I eat, how my sugars are. So you eat well, like you eat according to how your nutritionist amekwambia ukule. And then in the evening when you're checking your blood sugars, unapata iko karibu 20. That is the hardest thing, because now you're really trying hard, but then
it doesn't seem like it's working.
Disappoint. So imagine you making it, but then it's pulling you back. Yani it's so hard. And then also, I used to fear injections before.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
I really used to fear
4 injections per day is no joke. There are people who are just cringing at that. How big are these injections, by the way?
It's not big. I wish I could show you guys. It's not. It's small.
Yeah, but the fear of injection is still real.
Yes,
for many,
regardless of how big or how small. So, I really used to fear injections, but then now I did not have an option. So at times, mwili nakata. Unaingiza shindano kwa mwili.
Where do you inject?
So we are told to inject kwa muscles. So huku, and then outside your thighs and around the tummy, but not near the navel. So now you put the injections into your body. It's so painful that you shed tears. So at times, niuingiza shindano.
Wait, it's always painful.
At times it's painful because unadunga hapo kila siku. Like, let's say, nijidunge around my tummy. And then after, let's say at lunchtime, I forget nilijidunga wapi. I get to inject the same place. So imagine the pain. At times unaingiza shindano hadi unatoa. Hujaweka dawa. The whole body is painful. Until unajiambia, should I go on ama niache? Sasa ukiimagine, unajiambia tu, sini 1 second. Unadunga tu kwingine. As in, you remove that, pain is from your head. So when you just remove that thing in your head, inaisha tu. Unajidunga and that's it. But it is very hard. I break down at times. I can't lie to you.
Sorry to hear that.
I really break down. At times, Pia, we also get mental challenges.
It's got to be some stress with that, of course, yeah.
No, imagine. So now, you get, since first of all, I live alone, unakaa peke yako. Now you start wondering, now, why me? Those pain and everything, it gets you to that point where you think a lot. Now you break down. But now, it depends on how you want to come out strong. Unajipea tu nguvu because now, do you have an option? There are people looking up to you. I have a YouTube channel that people have to watch.
Yeah.
I have to be strong.
I was going to talk to you about the YouTube channel. Why did you start that? Was it an easy thing to do?
It was not, because even I know you have watched, and I've not recorded like, let's say 1 year now.
Yeah, I've seen. I was going to go to why did you stop?
It was not easy.
Yeah.
It was not easy because, let's say, let me now explain why I started first. I started the YouTube channel because people really don't know. What wanasikianga tu.
Going by the questions you've had even in your circles.
Yeah.
You realize clearly.
People really don't know anything about diabetes. And I started the channel so that I could reach out to people. Now, like a diabetic person can lead a normal life. But now, the difference with me and a person who does not have diabetes is the medication and maybe the lifestyle that I'm living.
Yeah.
So now, my intention of coming out to people was to show them I can do more like the same thing that you're doing, but I have limits. I have where I cannot reach because I want to take care of myself. This is not only for diabetics. It's also for people who have different type of conditions. Like you can literally live a normal life, but it depends. What do you have? How are you going about it? So it shows mimi naishi a normal life, but also to encourage them, it's easy if you just accept. So coming to it, now I am back. I am uploading a video very soon.
What was with the pause, by the way?
The pause was, I attached to a job, that time was
Oh.
a little bit of a problem. But right now I am back. Also, I did not have enough resources for recording and
Shooting.
yeah, you could even tell from the previous videos, the quality and everything was not really right. But I didn't care about the quality because really it's about the message.
Yeah. You know, you just need a good phone and a ring light.
Yeah. So now I am glad. I thank God that now someone gifted me those things. So now we will be back and I will share more and more videos.
Yeah, you should. You know, nowadays it's so easy. Just a good phone and a ring light and you can be on producer.
I pray to God that I get the energy to do it more and more.
And you can we can show you how even after this. It's very easy. And then you can produce your own videos. You can be able to upload them. You can be able to give awareness to people. Because I realize that you see when with diseases, people only ask questions when it's happened to them. Then they ask questions because they're looking for guidance.
Yeah.
You know? They want to follow the footsteps of somebody and see if they can succeed like them.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in. Because sometimes they might not meet you in person or be able to get your number and talk to you. But they could run across your YouTube channel and that could be very helpful. You know, in knowing, because we all know we are living in a Google world. You get sick a bit, you Google.
True.
Or
Google is our friend, but it also misleads.
It also misleads. It can really, I keep telling people, ask Google the right questions.
Sure.
Because
it can really...
It can send you into a frenzy.
Hey.
Yeah.
It can give you depression.
It can. It can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Has anything changed in terms of like your friends, your associations, when you do people treat you differently?
My social life, yes. They do. People fear what will happen to you when we are together. In case your sugars drop. Me, I don't know anything about diabetes. Tafanya nini? You see? So, my circle is literally small because of the rejection and people having shallow minds about diabetes and about life. So
people ask silly questions like whether it's contagious.
Imagine. And also there are people who are they just fear. The fear of maybe atakufa or anything, you know. Yeah. So now I just don't need that negative energy in my life. I keep people who give me positive energy and people who really are ready to know more about diabetes and to help others with diabetes. Like my friends, I can say they've also been really supportive because when I go out, when it's time ya kujidunga, kitambo I used to go to the restroom. Even when I'm with my friends, I go to the washroom and inject myself. Because the fear of people looking at you, the fear of people judging you and everything. But then it got to a point I told myself, what's wrong with it? It's something that is there. So people have to appreciate you with what they see you doing. Accepted. Yeah, because I've accepted myself, I have accepted my condition. So now I'll just inject myself in front of everyone. Ningang kwa restaurant, I order food, I will not go to the restroom. I'll inject myself there.
Is there anyone in your family who has, because when I'm sure you tried to find out how did I get this, and you said partly it could be hereditary. Yeah,
it's sad that we lost our mom when we were pretty young.
Oh, Pole.
She had diabetes. Yeah, and also like my maternal side of the family. Yeah.
So you think possibly management could have been key.
Yeah. But I cannot say I am sad about it. You know, God gives you a challenge that anajua you will fight it, regardless of whatever. So Mimi alinipea this condition, and alijua Anita is a fighter, and she's going to fight this thing through.
And your siblings?
No one has in my siblings. I'm the only one, and they really support me. They give me 100% of the support.
Yeah. How do you source for your medicines?
My family support me. They buy for me the medication.
Is it easily available?
It's easily available. We just buy it in the normal pharmacies. Yeah. I've not gotten the challenge of not getting the drugs. I really thank my family because that is one thing that I know it would be a very big challenge to me. I think that is one thing inaweza put down.
Yeah.
Lacking medicine.
Because when you look at the patients, that's what you see is the biggest issue out there.
Yeah.
Is access to medication.
You should one day walk into a diabetic clinic, just in a public hospital. Just walk in there and see. You see people, they lack food, as in people prioritize food, dawa. So people get less of food, dawa inakuwa priority. So you see mtu hana, you just hana, like you just see the wako tu hafifu. You can say that. So it's not easy. It's a journey. And I would encourage people, family, to be specific, to be really supportive. We are really going through a lot. Sidelining these people is not the option. Give them support, regardless. Si lazima ikuwe pesa. Emotional support is a big one. And also, the old people, like, when you work on a diabetes, they fear, let me tell you, they fear telling people how diabetes is. Let me give you an example. Let's say if you have someone in your family who has diabetes. Have you ever at any point sat them down, kauliza this condition iko aje? Ama unaogopa? Because you know, anaweza anza kuwa dependent to you. Kuna hiyo fear. So people don't ask these questions because they fear huyu msee anaweza anza kuwa burden to me. But sasa it's so like easy for us to talk to you guys and tell you how we are faring on and how this thing is going when you want us to talk about it, you see. So our watu wenye wako nayo, the old age people, I would love them to share with these young people because also that is a big problem. Young people saizi, they are really dying because they don't want to share, they don't want to accept. I have people who have lived with diabetes for more than 20 years, more than 40 years. They are okay. All because they accepted their condition. But for young people, considering the pressure that we have right now, to live their life, we tend not to accept things as they come. How many young people have you had in the news? They've died because they've killed themselves. Do we know the reason behind their stories? We don't know. They might be battling with something. We don't know. So mental health is also key.
You know what we say, the 50% of healing is what you think.
Yeah, sure.
It's here.
Yeah.
I had cancer for many years, same story. 50% was up here. Before even the doctor gives you medicine, if you don't think it's gonna work, it's not gonna work.
It will not work. Sure, it will not.
And if you channel a positive energy even to the process, to the medication, to the new lifestyle, because it has had to change what you do. You say you're carrying your medication around all the time, you know. By the way, have you ever had an episode where you've had no medication and you're panicking? Like kukubeba?
No, because sijawahi sahau.
Do you set an alarm ama it's just second nature kabisa?
Niko na alarm ya 8, 1 na 8. So it reminds me every day. But of course, you know, if you do something repeatedly, it's a routine. Yeah, so I don't forget.
Even before it rings, you know.
I know. Siwezi sahau. Yani ni kama handkerchief. Hey, you can't forget.
Are there things you absolutely cannot consume?
Yeah. So we are not told that you will consume 100% of things.
Yeah.
Your body requires balanced diets, you know?
Yeah.
Carbohydrate, vitamin, protein, it requires all that. But then it all comes down to how much are you eating.
How much? Na unajua pia watu wa pombe wanakusikiza.
Watu wa pombe.
Kinli.
Sana.
Na ni Friday. So they want to know watapiga sherehe ama namna gani.
So for carbohydrates unaambiwa kule inatoshana na feast yako. So ugali your feast, mchele your feast, any kind of carbohydrate your feast. And then of course mboga kwa wingi, proteins kwa wingi. Yeah. So si ati tunaambiwa usikule hata nini like but processed sugars should be a no.
So sodas,
juices,
those juices that are processed,
biscuits, cakes should be on the low. When you can't avoid it, me nasemanga when
are there things you really like? Do you have a sweet tooth, for example?
I don't. You know, even before I was diagnosed, I was in the martial arts. I used to train martial arts. So my diet was like kinda.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing that they removed that you said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm not gonna take much.
Even soda, drinking soda before was a problem. But I thank God ilitolewa in my life. Because processed sugars, let's say this word, ni false sugar. When you drink soda, it spikes your sugars and then it drops it. So normally when I have hypo, I use glucose, not soda. But kama niko town and I do not have glucose in my bag, I will just drink soda and go look for something to eat. Because of course, utakunywa soda, it will spike your sugars ipeleke juu alafu irudishe chini. So processed sugars really haikusaidii kwa mwili.
I hear you.
Yeah, but right now it's so sad that the most cheapest food that we have ni carbohydrates. Anyway, hata ukitoka hapa nje, biscuits, mandazi, chapo, they're the cheapest things we find. So food for a diabetic patient is so expensive. Juu lazima ukule mboga, ukule.
Because you're gonna eat the fish and the chickens.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's in town it's a bit of a challenge to even eat. Ukikumbuka chakula ni 400 town. Ukula nyumbani utoke kwa nyumba hivi. Kama ushakula.
You're speaking like my daughter, she's in college. She talks like that. She will spend more than 200 kwa food.
We're just literal. I am just a literal person.
Yeah.
Ukifikiria pesa, of course, you must think.
You must think. Yeah, you have to plan yourself.
Na pia kujichunga. Juu nisipokula kwa nyumba nitakuwa forced to eat fries in town. You see?
Again, which is not very healthy.
Yeah, itani haribia sugar zangu. So there's no point. So I'd rather eat at home.
So you have zero cravings for bad things.
Wow, cravings. I have cravings. I can't lie to you. I have cravings. I eat a lot of crepes. That is one thing I cheat with. But not a lot. There are times I really want it. But when I really want it, I monitor my sugar that day. Because inaweza tu
make sure so that you don't overdo it.
Yes, so that I don't overdo it. So if I do it, I can do it like once a month or twice a month.
Tell me, in terms of awareness, what is it you wish you could see government do for diabetes patients?
Dawa. We do not want a lot. Dawa. You know, this is something that it's either you have it or not. Kama uko nayo, the better. Kama hauna, unajua in like a month or two, nitakuwa na another condition that will lead to my death. So now, if the government would see when they are reviewing the tax or when they're just doing these tax things, they should consider. Because let me tell you, Levi, it's so sad that medical insurance I cover diabetes. I can have a medical insurance, but she doesn't know insulin now. You see?
Really?
Yeah. I can't. They have a limit, you can't. NHIF right now we are paying, but inasaidia nini kulipa tu kitanda.
What's the average cost of insulin?
It's expensive. Like the one that I'm using, the short acting is around 1,000 and I use it for a week. And the other one is 2,400 and I use it for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So if you do the math, more like karibu.
Wow. So it's like 4 plus 2, 4 is like 6, almost 7,000 bob.
7,000 per month.
Yeah.
Though it depends on the kind of insulin you're using.
Could be more.
Yeah, could be more, could be less. So for me, I use that. But
even if it was 2,000 a month, it's a lot of money, out of reach for many people.
True. So let's say for someone who's not able, ana job, ama mtu wako uko ushago, shamba hai produce vizuri, ana any other kind of income, ama ana mtu mwenye anaweza enda kuomba pesa. But pia huwezi omba pesa kila siku. Na huwezi enda pia hospitali ukae hapo unasema unaomba dawa. Not everyone is generous as you think. You see?
So you wish the taxes could even be zero rated there for
Yes.
that, even for that.
Yes, because people are really struggling. They are really fighting. So in the small group that we have, if I have maybe niende for my clinic and then the doctor removes let's say dawa yenye nilikuwa natumia before na imebaki, I go to the group, say I was using this kind of drug na niko nayo imebaki extra. If there's someone using it, DM, I share.
And usually you find there is?
Yes, we really share. We share a lot of things. Even the syringes, it's also expensive. Si rahisi kununua syringe 20 bob or even 15 shillings. Na unafaa kununua in bulk juu unaweza itumia like in 3 days would dispose. Isi kitu utaitumia for a week or for 2 weeks. So we share these things because there's scarcity. Because people don't have. Na pia leo unaweza kuwa nayo kesho hauna. So if the government could just do a zero hapo kwa dawa, itakuwa imetusaidia sana.
I feel you.
Because we don't talk a lot because we know we will not get support, but we can't stop. Mimi siwezi stop.
You have to keep on trying to talk.
Yes, I will not stop fighting for it.
Yeah.
I will just continue fighting until one day when they decide to really help us.
Tell me as we close, what's a message you can give to a young person just diagnosed with diabetes and wondering what next? Tell me.
It's not a hard journey, but acceptance is key. Just imagine you have an headache, and this headache is every day. What do you plan to do with it? Si utameza dawa, uishi more life. So now, diabetes is just a condition like no other. You accept, take your medications right, eat well. You can have a social life for sure, because nutritionists advise us to have a life. And for those who used to drink, huwezi kataza kukunywa, but you have to kupunguza. So it's just acceptance and love yourself. Do not hear voices from around. Be you, love you, and have a positive mind. You'll do wonders with your life. You will do whatever you have always wanted to do. Because me, in my career right now, I am well. I practice interior design. I have the printing hustle. I have another hustle that's called Nitafric. I deal everything vitenge, everything African for interior spaces, duvet, pillows, everything vitenge. So it's not limiting me from doing anything. I'm doing anything. And I will fight. I will not stop fighting.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Anita.
You're welcome.
Anita KEMBOI, conqueror of diabetes, type 1. So it's November. It's Diabetes Awareness Month. Go out, go get your sugars checked, go get yourself checked. Just find out. Because as they say, knowledge is... information is power, or knowledge is power. You'll be able to, at least once you know, you can do something about it. You can shape your life, you can guide your life, and it's not a dead sentence.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's 59 minutes. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with Ilosu. Have a wonderful day.